again, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back. We're finally
Hello.
here. Yay!
Been a while, hasn't it?
We're finally back. Hey, it feels pretty good to be back. Yeah. How have you been, Harry?
Yeah, I'm good. Just getting myself in the right position. Haven't obviously got my stream where it normally is, but yeah, no, really good.
Straight.
Really good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. No, good to be back. Good to be back. Long time coming. And I think we're going to be discussing why it's been a while, aren't we? There's been some changes that have been going on in the background, some things that were announced that have now changed form, which is, I guess, well, what everyone's here to talk about, primarily secondary traits.
Absolutely.
So yeah, lots to talk about there, and very excited about doing so.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Honestly, it has been a long time coming. I can't tell you guys how much we've wanted to be doing this. Really, honestly. Raj here, thank you so much for the sub. Oh wow, 10 months. 10-month streak. Whoa.
That's pretty impressive.
I'll try and make sure to be a little bit louder for you there. Do let me know. If the music is loud, I can fix that as well. Let me just quickly turn that down as well. Let me know how that is, guys. Yeah, so it has been a while since we obviously announced secondary traits initially, and we will talk a little bit about how it's taken so long. We obviously have changed things a little bit since then, and I think for the better, to be quite honest.
Yeah, absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah, it is really just an iteration on what we had, and I think we've managed to respond as well to the feedback that you guys have given us on the first reveal that we did. Now, that is not the only reason why we've taken a while. There were some other things that cropped up. You know, Leagues of Votan came out. There were a few hiccups we hit with the cosmetic level that we're planning. We really want that to be extra special, so we've actually taken that out of the secondary traits feature, which we're going to be releasing to you guys now, because ultimately we want the fun, exciting gameplay to get to you guys as soon as possible. So that's what's happening with that.
Yep.
Pardon me, just clearing.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Makes sense. Yeah.
So before we jump straight into secondary traits, I thought what might make sense is if we take a look at the roadmap that we posted really recently. So we posted this, only a week or so ago. Here it is up on the screen, and in here we can obviously see secondary traits as the kind of first thing, top of the list, as it were, in the close to release. How close is that to release? Well, I think I can safely tell you that this will be in the next update to the game. So the very next update that you get will have secondary traits in it. This is not just a coming soon TM thing. This is really coming very, very soon.
Yeah, literally next release.
Yeah, literally next release. It's not even just close to release. Like, it is the next release, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it is the first thing coming out of everything on that roadmap. That is guaranteed, that is going to happen, and we're going to give you guys the kind of full rundown of the whole feature today as well. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, please do post them as we go through the stream. We'll obviously always do our best to answer them as we go. And of course, if you have questions about anything else on this roadmap, you can feel free to ask them. There's no guarantee which we'll be able to answer all of them. There's a lot of things on here which we haven't even really started fully working on yet. And then there's a number of things on there that Harry and I are sadly underqualified to talk about in detail, I think.
If you're talking about server stability, yeah, that's not my bag.
Yeah, just way over my head. But it's worth paying attention, I think, to the fact that is a lot of the reason why we've been a bit quieter over the last few months. It has really been knuckling down on some of that back-end work, which I think is going to be very beneficial in the long run. That's really in the aim of a long-running goal.
Absolutely.
Other thing I think which we're going to touch on relatively soon, probably the new Votan Warlord. Keep your eyes peeled. I think the next time that we're streaming will likely be about that Warlord. I won't say anything else for now.
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shall we get onto the meat and potatoes and the carrots and everything of exactly why we're here? Yeah, go on. So we are, of course, here to talk about secondary traits. Now, what is secondary traits at a kind of high level, Harry? I don't know if you can walk through that.
At a high level, what are secondary traits? well, cards that are of epic or legendary rarity as they progress, and no, I'll say as they progress now, it's not at the end of the tree, will get access to a second trait. So when these guys are on the field, they will have two effects once they're upgraded to the right level. There is obviously some effects that we're not going to combine and some that are going to be sort of mainstays, but yeah, may well be two remains in players effects, maybe two on deploy effects. It is a complete mixed bag depending on the character and the faction and what is most suitable. So yeah, a really, really big mixed bag, opens a whole load of possibilities and a lot more tactical gameplay, which yeah, I think is really good, where we've got in the stage of the game where people are very familiar with how particular decks are built, how particular factions are played, being able to really open up that toolbox without just dumping a whole load of new cards into the game, I think is the best way possibly to do it, and gives you that real feel of like a centerpiece to your deck or to your collection as a whole. So yeah, I guess that's the 5-sentence headline.
I think it's a pretty good 5-sentence headline, yeah. Obviously, in doing this, we've had to touch upgrade trees. And I think we did see this as a bit of an opportunity, I think, to address some of the areas of the upgrade tree that maybe we weren't super happy with. I'm thinking in particular about the final upgrade, because I know that you mentioned there that these second traits are, of course, only for epic and legendary cards. But that doesn't mean that common and rare upgrade trees remain untouched, because there is the kind of other component of this update, which is something called the Omni level, which is a new kind of stat upgrade, and effectively that bridges the big gap that there was between the final stat upgrade and trait rank 4, and that applies to all rarities.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we mentioned when we first talked about this, that element of the feature hasn't changed. So we are still doing the Omni level, and as you rightly pointed out, there is that big exponential curve in the game currently with the number of card copies required between trait rank 3 and trait rank 4. And so this Omni level being brought in really smooths out that curve. Additionally, the way that we've now taken those secondary traits, as we'll see, and we've interspersed them amongst the existing tree, that curve should be a much better experience all the way through, because we're very aware that players get to a point where a card hits trait rank 3 and they just don't see any progress. So that is very much the plan to do there. And for those of you who don't remember or didn't see the original stream, the Omni level or the Omni upgrade or whatever we're calling it upgrades all of your stats at the same time. So if you've got 2 attack types, it will upgrade both of your attacks and your health, 3 attack types, all of them, and it scales depending on the number of attacks you have. So you won't get more benefit by having 3 attacks, but yeah,
exactly right. I thought before we start actually showing changes to upgrade trees, which we will go through all rarities, just field a couple questions here. What's the plan between Battle Pass themes? Really, it's dependent on what cards are coming out. Also, what kind of beats are coming out at GW. We do try and mirror the kind of current events and currency in 40k a lot. And actually, a slight correction to what you're saying there. The Votann themed were actually Great Arthurian League themed. So I know that they might seem kind of generic Votann because they're the poster boys of all things Votann, but there is absolutely room for other Votann sub-factions. So yeah, it is sub-factions, and we try and bounce around between what we think is thematic, appropriate to events that we have on, to GW's calendars, and also just what we like, to be quite honest. We do get some say there.
Yeah, and fill gaps when we see them. I mean, as you saw on the roadmap, we're finally getting a good Eldari one with Swooping Hawks, and then we've got a Gene Stealers one coming as well. So, you know, we do take on the feedback that there are lots of Space Marine ones, there are plenty of Chaos ones, and again, they do get the most releases and they get the most attention, but we are taking also this time to revisit factions and, well, factions as a whole that haven't had any sub-factions given to them. So, yeah.
Yeah. Why only epics and legendaries? Well, I think there's a couple of reasons for this. One of the main drivers, though, is that we really didn't want to just apply secondary traits to every card in the game. And there's a few reasons for this. One, be an absolute nightmare to balance. It's going to be tricky enough balancing secondary traits as it is. But I think a bigger reason is actually gameplay, time spent in game. The way that we're implementing this is secondary traits will be prevalent, but they won't be everywhere. And I think if we did put secondary traits on every single card in the game, we would risk things changing much more significantly than they will change. That's not to say that things won't be changing as a result of this update. It's just that it's not quite as, monument world shifting as it would be as if we were applying traits blanket across everyone.
Yeah, I think speaking to that as well, as you say, the time consideration was definitely one of them. I mean, the first iteration, the very first when we were formulating the idea for this, did have every card having access to a secondary trait, and the sort of rarity level tying to the secondary trait level, so you could have commons having trait rank 1 as their secondary trait. Problem was, yeah, absolutely the time in the game. I mean, we already know that the game can take a long time with animations, and we want to be trying to make that snappy. That's a lot of what the server backend is about, is making the game feel a lot more fluid, not taking as long in the battles and stuff like that. So inserting that into every single card would have exponentially increased that, which is something we want to avoid. Balance is also really important, but from a design point of view as well, if every card had a secondary trait, then part of what we're bringing into this is a unique feel and personality to each card. We immediately lose that because we're now competing for those combinations amongst cards, and you might have a common card that has the perfect combination for you, but you're now annoyed because that's a common, so it means that your epic or your legendary doesn't get it. And it also means that we're going to be forcing cards where we don't want to try and have too many repeats of the dual traits, that really niche cards not being useful at all because we forced a secondary trait onto it that doesn't really fit, which means it's not playable elsewhere. So yeah, that's kind of where we got to with that.
Yeah, I think well spoken. I couldn't agree more, really. And ultimately, oftentimes epic and legendary cards tend to be characters. They tend to be units that would have more special rules. It can actually be quite tricky to try and think of dual traits for something like a guardsman, for instance. And finding a way of making that appropriate as well. Cool. Right. Any chance we can make the battle pass kills level? Yeah, absolutely. That's something we're going to keep looking at. I think we've seen really mixed results from our changes to the battle pass tiers. A lot of it has been really, really positive. We've seen that in engagement data. And we've also seen the feedback on the other side as well. We're absolutely keeping things under review. Keep the feedback coming. We do read absolutely all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really fine line to tread because we were having it basically that it was too difficult. It was way too much of a time commitment that we were asking of players where it was before. And it seems to be in a better position than it was, but it doesn't mean that it's in the best position it could be. I would much rather be having feedback from players saying, I'm completing this too quickly, I'm getting my rewards too quickly, than where we had before, which is, it doesn't matter how much I play, I don't get my rewards. So I think we're in a better position now than where we were. Whether or not this is the final position, yeah, absolutely, that this is something that can be changed, but no general comment on that at the moment, I don't think.
No plans right now. No.
Yeah.
All right, shall we jump into some upgrade trees? I thought we'll get the boring ones out of the way first. We'll talk about commons and rares. We'll save the best for last, as it were. But we'll blitz through these ones first.
Good question though there from Ahab about how do we ensure that the rare warlords don't get phased out by the epics and legendaries. I think you got to think about realistically the warlord is just one body. What you're really taking a warlord for is the warlord rule.
Yeah.
So if it's got a very good rule and a good body, so it's on an epic and a legendary, yeah, that's potentially very, very strong. But if it's a rare one, but it's got a very usable warlord rule, I would use Trazen as a good example, then I don't think it really affects it too much because you can bring bodyguards that are epic and legendary in there. It's definitely something we'll have to watch from a balance point of view. But I think, yeah, as a body, as a carrier for traits, that's not what warlords are mainly about. Unless you go for the really big tanky warlords, which, to be fair, tend to be legendaries or epics anyway. Your swarm lords or your avatar arcane, they are legendary, but that's because they carry almost all of the points of the team on the back, which is why it's okay for them to have double traits. And the rare ones tend to be much cheaper on the flip side. So,
and there's a real correlation with that across the board, actually, for bodyguards as well. And I think I've seen some people, especially on the Discord, kind of commenting, "I'll just build a full legendary deck." A lot harder than you might think, actually, to make that work. So there is some inherent balance that comes with how rarities are distributed with points. But what I'd also say is we will absolutely do a balance pass post this release. It's very, very difficult for us to anticipate exactly how everything's going to fall, and that's why I think we are committed to basically adjusting things post-release. We want to get things out, get things into your hands, see how things settle a little bit. We will absolutely be looking at rules, Warlord rules, trait combinations, stat changes, pretty much everything's on the table. We will absolutely update after this to make sure that things remain balanced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to jump in. Let's talk about the commentary, because honestly, everyone wants to get it out of the way, and then we can move on to something else. So I've chosen a lovely drone here as an example, and as you can see, absolutely nothing has changed with this tree, with the exception of the little breakpoint between the last stat upgrade and trait rank 4. I don't know what else to say here. You know, it's
Yeah.
that's about it. And the total number of copies to get to trait rank 4, I believe, is the same as it was. And so that really is just a distribution of where you spend those upgrades, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's important to say, is that, just as we said initially, that initial point, the idea is to keep that journey very much the same. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that is an old that's an old picture of the drone. It's got the melee in there.
Oh, is it? Oh, my fault. Yeah.
All the drones are statless.
I'll throw my hands up. That was me. I made these images earlier. Oh god, yeah, you're gonna catch me out now. I bet there's another one that's got old stats as well. Oof. Okay, we'll soldier on. Moving on to the rare upgrade tree, same deal here. Old and new upgrade trees. Again, total upgrades the same, just a little redistribution of the curve there.
Yep.
What do we think of that image? Is that all right? No melee.
No, she's psychic only now.
You can try. That's all right. Cool. So let's jump on to epic then, and I've chosen everybody's favorite epic card for this. None other than Kerboom. Yeah. There he is. Now this is different. Obviously, this is not the same as looking at those commons and rare trees. This is a different upgrade tree. And here we see the secondary trait for this epic card actually comes in between trait rank 3 and trait rank 4, and then continues after trait rank 4 as well.
Yep. So again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's exactly the same model, where to get to trait rank 4 is exactly the same number of cards. So you will get that trait if you are at max level, or if you're in the midway point between trait rank 3 and trait rank 4 currently, then you will get your trait rank 1 secondary trait on your epic cards.
Correct, yeah. And that's a really important point. You know, nobody's going to be losing any upgrades because of this. Even though we're adding kind of interstitial upgrades between where other upgrades were, we are going to essentially compensate everyone's profiles to make sure that nobody loses the stat upgrade or the trait upgrade where they had, even if it's now at a higher level, if you see what I mean. Yeah, that makes complete sense, or at least it does to me. And yeah, good point there about the stat boost. That does come off trait rank 4 for the epic, and we might see the same thing with legendary. We might not. We'll see. But it does make a bit of a difference between the commons and the rares, is that they do get their stats a little bit earlier, the heavier stats a bit earlier, because they aren't carrying those more technical traits with them. So again, for the people saying, oh, well, are we going to leave commons and rares behind? Potentially no. You do have an option where they become more of a body than they do more of a technical trait piece, depending on the card. Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And really,
something for everyone.
What you're sacrificing the stats for, it's not really sacrificing because you haven't got them yet.
Yeah.
But really they're replaced by utility, right? For epics here. I think we don't need to convince anyone the power of trait, the power that utility brings to something like combat cards, and really that's what you're getting here. And I can't help but comment on the fact that he gets Furious Charge Deathblow, which I absolutely love that combination because it's just guaranteed damage.
He'll give you a big bite and he's going to explode. Yeah.
He's got one job. Bite you and blow up.
That's the point. Yeah. It's just guaranteed damage, isn't it? You put him down, he does damage. He dies, he does damage. He doesn't even need to attack. He's attacked twice.
It's brilliant. Honestly, it is good. Okay, shall we drum roll for the legendary? Should we get ready? here we go. I bring you Prince Uriel, the legendary card. And there you can see in all of its glory, secondary traits all the way up to trait rank 4, mixed in all the way from level 3. So if you have a level 3 legendary right now, then next update, your legendary will have a secondary trait. There you go. And yeah, the eagle-eyed among you will spot that there's even 2 Omni levels at the end there.
They're going to be getting spicy.
They're going to be getting very spicy. Yeah. However, what's worth noting is, of course, the same as all the other ones. We've been very clear. Trait rank 4 is the same, right, in terms of card copies, which means both of those Omni levels are beyond trait rank 4. They are quite a long way away, and we expect to keep an eye on that. It's going to take some time for people to, I think, access both Omni levels. We will absolutely keep things under review as we go.
We will be watching the balance for these legendary cards getting their second Omni level upgrade. But as you say, I think they will be few and far between. If people want to enjoy that whilst that lasts, then by all means do so.
Yeah. Having said that, having playtested this for a while, I think deck building is such a huge component in finding the right combinations of cards with the right Warlord that really bringing legendaries for the sake of it can actually shoot you in the foot a little bit. It's hard to explain without doing it, without actually playing it. But synergies, cross-card combos and trait combos and stuff are still the name of the game. They just are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Especially special rule synergy as well. Yeah. But yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was going to say, the big thing is it really gives a very different identity to legendary cards. They will now feel very different. They will be carrying their second trait very early on. And there's also room here for the lower cost legendaries to really shine, where a lot of the big cost legendaries, the high cost legendaries are the ones that have been stealing the show. Where actually for the low cost ones, the stats don't matter too much. The fact that you're very quickly layering on high level double traits makes cards like Severina Rain, for example, really, really useful. Because 12 points, but you're bringing double the amount of traits.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Severina Rain, actually, because she's one of the lowest cost legendaries in the game. There really aren't very many that are that cheap. And I think she struggled a little bit to find her place previously. And I really hope that a feature like this can really help her to stand out among the commons and rares and epics that are around that same cost margin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she absolutely will.
Hey, sorry, Zeka asked, how many copies do we need to upgrade? There will be a blog post coming out very, very shortly, which will have all the kind of fine details in it. I'm not going to go through the full per upgrade costs of everything right now on stream. It would just take a little bit too long, I'm afraid. But to trait rank 4 at least is pretty much the same. So if you're trait rank 4 now, you'll remain trait rank 4. Same distance effectively to run to get there. If you've had a card maxed for a while, receive coins in the place of it, more copies needed. I'm afraid, yes, it will be reset to a hard 0 because the game has already been compensating you for those copies that you've been drawing. I think maybe we would have liked to handle it differently if a couple of years ago we knew that one day we were going to be doing secondary traits. I'm afraid that's a hindsight is 2020 moment.
Essentially, but we can't claim those coins back. We can't put you on,
exactly,
minus 10,000 coins or something like that,
Cool.
It'll be a fresh start for everyone.
Now, I did anticipate we'd get some questions about what's going to happen when this update lands. What happens to my card in my collection? We didn't actually have very many questions for them yet, but I'm going to preempt.
We've done a very good job of explaining it.
I'm going to preempt all of the questions, and we're going to go over exactly what's going to happen when this update lands. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to essentially roll out an update, which you'll download from the App Store as usual, and then there will be something on the server which triggers. We'll do that during a very, very low activity moment, and basically the next time that you log in, the change will have taken place and your collection will have essentially upgraded itself onto the next secondary trait version, right? So essentially what's going to happen is, I'm using Uriel's tree as the example, by the way. So say your Uriel is level 4. i.e. they are at trait rank 3, just above that arrow. They will remain the same level, i.e. level 4, but because they are now the step behind the trait level they were at, your profile will be refunded the exact number of cards and coins that you need to make up the difference to where you were before, i.e. trait rank 4. Now that's on top of everything that you've already got, so if you have several copies lying about, you'll just get those copies refunded on as well. There's a few reasons why we've done this. I think really mostly it's freedom for you guys. You know, if things have changed in the card and you don't like it or something, then you've essentially got a little bit of a coin balance to distribute elsewhere, however you see fit, or just reinvest it back into the card and get straight back up to speed where you were before. I hope that does make sense. Andy, I like that it makes sense to you. That's really good. But any questions around this, do please feel free to ask. The essential takeaway is that your cards will remain as they were. That's the real bottom line and takeaway. And so if you are at a level that would in the new world give you a secondary trait, then you can look forward to having a secondary trait.
Yeah, no one's losing anything. No one's being bumped back.
So if we upgrade everything now, we get the level up points to get to do it again. I mean, that's kind of different way of thinking about it. It's almost the same thing happening, just in a different way.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly how it's going to work. I know what you're trying to say there. No, I don't think that's right. I mean, do upgrade them now because you'll be getting your points in. You'll get your secondary trait straight away. But
he will get to do it again. So in terms of gaining XP for doing the upgrade, then yeah, you would actually get to gain the XP multiple times. So yeah. Dr. Garderouge, why not just update it automatically? Yeah, I think I just explained that really is to give you guys the freedom to use the coins elsewhere. If something has changed about a card in a way that you maybe didn't want or didn't intend for it to do. Ultimately, this shouldn't affect very many cards in your collection. So
there'll be some edge cases.
Yeah. It is an edge case thing, and broadly it's only going to be a handful of cards, I think, for most people. And hopefully that's just a nice moment when you get to log in and upgrade a nice legendary card.
We also don't like to take actions on players' behalfs unless we can possibly help it, because, you know, while we think players may want to do something, that doesn't mean that they do. So if we say, yeah, we've done this for you, that doesn't necessarily, you know, it's easy enough for you to do it yourself. So we don't want to force a bad experience or something.
Codex, thank you very much for the sub, by the way. Awesome to have you here. And yeah, enjoy the watch later on. We've skipped past a couple of upgrade trees, but we've stopped on this alien one, so I'm sure you're not missing too much.
Yes, double Omni level for legendaries now.
All right. So I think we've done our kind of little talking over of the things. How about we actually show it? I challenge you, Harry, madam, to a best of 3 in PvP.
Okay, next update.
It is next update, yeah.
I would be shocked and appalled if it wasn't in the next. Oh, I'm not. Am I? Can we say this?
I think we can. Yeah.
It's going to be like in the next week.
Yeah.
Next 7 days or so, you'll be seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. If it doesn't land within a week, then obviously something's happened and we've had to delay it. But all lights are green, everything going as planned. This will be coming out for you guys next week. Yeah. Look forward to it.
Yeah, something drastic would have to happen to stop it happening next week.
Yeah. Don't say that. That's just inviting disaster.
I mean, to be fair, something drastic can happen any time to stop something from happening. So,
Okay. We haven't really had any warm-up games, so we're going in a bit blind here. This could get interesting.
Yeah, I'd be making these while warming up the stream, so...
Yeah, okay. I think I'm ready. I'm going to bring... I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to bring.
Yep.
I feel like I'm really gamed into picking cards that I maybe shouldn't necessarily be picking. You know, I'm kind of trying to just squeeze a bunch of epics and legendaries in. Yeah.
Early excuses. Oh, do you want to put the battle on? There it is.
I was timing it.
I'm on a lag. There you go. So, land with an opener. We've already seen this card.
It's orcs on orcs. Here we go. Here we go. Question is, are you going to leave them in the middle?
Maybe.
Any information about the Battle Scars modifier? No concrete information. We'll definitely do. We'll give it its own stream.
I want to talk about it because
point.
it's really cool.
It is very, very. I wasn't gonna just leave it at that. Don't worry. Yeah, it is very cool. It's a very different modifier to the ones that you've seen before. I think it's safe to say. We're not talking about modifying stats. We're not talking about, changing health or anything like that.
It's a meta modifier, isn't it?
It's different.
In the sense that it affects the way that the actual game is played, rather than how the battle is played. If that makes sense.
Ooh. Yeah. I think that's probably that's a good teaser. We can leave it at that. Yeah.
Deathblow and Berserk on Stomper Chomper, so needed.
Deathblow and Berserk is
any love you can give Stomper Chomper, I'm here for.
Yeah.
And yes, Gorzag's got Taunt and Berserk, which is an interesting one.
Taunt and Berserk is interesting. Yeah.
If you can play it at the right time, where you're not going to get one hit KO, you're guaranteed to get triple stacks of your Berserk. So if you're a good player, then you can really pull off a really big attack off that rather than dying instantly. But
high risk, high reward, I think, is the key there.
Yeah.
Having Furious Charge is very nice on this guy. You know what? I was reading chat and I've just completely misplayed. I can't believe I put Smirket in front of your Stomper Chomper.
Beautiful. You love to see it. Love to see it.
Stop it, chat. Stop being interesting. That's my turn as well again. Yeah. See, I told you this would happen because I'm used to streaming on. I've got two screens and I'm used to having it set up the other way around, and I'm completely tripping myself up now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Excuses out early. It's always worth to get them out of the way.
I have faith.
Crichton wants to know whether we're going to be doing a blog post for every faction with their cards. We were planning to originally.
I still think we could probably, maybe, potentially pull that off. Maybe.
Unless people have been playing around with the trait combinations behind the back, they're already all written. So.
Yeah. No, never say never. That could happen.
Also, one of my new favourite dual traits is Makari with his Inspiring Presence shield.
Yeah.
Little 7-pointer there, getting a huge amount of value.
That is brutal. Oof. This isn't going very well, guys.
This game against the AI, yeah. Com is an AI. Oh wait, you talking about me? No, I'm the other player.
Yeah, no, this is PvP. I've been absolutely ruined. I've been taken to school. Okay, need to roll up the sleeves.
You really gonna blow up my Stomper Chomper? You prepared to do that? Take full face damage?
Scout Furious Charge is brutal on attack strike. Yes, it is. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, no, there are some purposely made combos there that are going to be really good fun, and I think one of the things that we were definitely missing is really feeling like a card belongs in a particular deck, or there is a real tool for a deck. So being able to have a legendary card which has Scout and Furious Charge, for example, is really good in any of the melee decks, of which there are a lot for orcs. Bye-bye. But having that double synergy for Zag's Truck is really good. Really good.
Yeah, and actually, I think we're just going over our favourite trait combinations now, aren't we? I think one of my favourite ones that's come out is Outflank Target Acquired. That is chef's kiss. Oh yes. Brilliant.
Yeah, I also like a variation of that, which is Scout Flank.
Scout Flank, yep.
Scout Flank is a ridiculous swing on a one-turn deploy. And yeah, it's pretty situational, where like it's rare that it's going to be like absolutely game-changing, but it's always going to be good, you know, particularly in the right decks, for decks which you're playing lots of buffing and charged up attacks and stuff like that. Yeah, very, very good.
All right, round two. Shield gens. Oh.
I think I've avoided shield gen.
I have not seen a shield gen. I don't think there is a shield gen. There are some other nasty combos, yeah.
Well, there is a no gross rule. There are some few gross ones that have snuck in there, but they have been trying to be balanced to be like balancedly gross, if that makes sense, rather than just outright gross.
Oh, there's the shield. Inspire Belial, yeah.
I mean, you've got a shield inspire.
Yeah, but he's nowhere near as expensive. It's fine.
Yeah, so why are you whinging? What's going on?
I'm just whinging.
Wolf way up there. The 4-point target acquired Tau Guy, the marker lighter chap. Off the top of my head, I believe he's got scouts. So he's basically going to guarantee that whatever you put down, he's going to kill, basically, because you're getting target acquired on it, you're getting a damage increase buff from target acquired, and you're getting a ranged buff from your scout. So yeah, it's going to be a very strong one-hit remover.
Oh, Tyberus. Oh.
Yeah,
I do remember
everyone's been asking, does Tyberus get there?
Yeah.
There he is.
Give Tyberus fear. Well, there he goes.
Gives him a huge amount more utility as well. Like, I can see why people wanted it. Oof.
Ouch.
Oof.
Oof. Oof. Okay.
Cool. Because Cool was not already tanky enough, like not at all the most tanky and difficult card to shooter in the game, he has now got regen as well.
I wonder if anyone spotted my my little secret card in my deck yet.
I haven't been looking. I've been trying to.
I've not pulled out the card that I wanted to pull, which is really upsetting me. You don't have enough boost, to be honest. I think I'm going to range.
It's the new chaos card. Is it? Have we got a new chaos card in there?
Oh, you might have a little new chaos card in there. Is he chaos though? I don't know. Who knows?
Well, hopefully it's not new to me because I've been making the card. I'd be surprised. Oh no! Wait, what did I do? I wasn't thinking.
What did you do? You just got masked. Haha!
Yeah. Should have readied.
Yeah, I mean, some people will know that we've got a Fallen/Unforgiven themed event coming up for Thanksgiving, which is next week. And yeah, there are a couple of new cards coming out for that, and one of them might be featuring right now.
Yes. Yeah, Cypher's a weird one. If indeed it is Cypher that we are talking about.
Never heard of him, mate.
Is he actually a bad guy? He's almost Alpha Legion level of good guy, bad guy.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Gross.
He is in the latest Chaos Codex.
Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
There we go.
That
Target
was,
acquired
I
out
think,
flag. Boom.
that.
Take that.
Of course.
Take that.
Yeah, I'd Shrike in it.
And then gonna get the flanking in with the
Big Game Hunter as well. Yeah.
Big Game Hunter. Oh, look at that.
It's
Oh,
gonna hurt a lot. Yeah.
Dead. Gone. Look at you.
Well
Playing
played,
down your
very good.
playing down your Hell Drake.
I guess I'll take out the Inspire. I think I can maybe get
Bold
a
words.
little bit of extra done here.
Oh wait, what? You've just done what I've just done to you. That's not fair. Game's rigged.
It's rigged. It's rigged. Yeah. Here is Cypher at his max level with Inspire on. I love the model. Absolutely brutal. And he is a bit of a beast. He's a little bit different from other Chaos cards, and I think fills quite a nice little niche for them with his target acquired.
Yeah, I think as well, with very limited target acquired, but we've expanded it recently with Flenser. But it's all been melee focused, being able to have a ranged one. There are some ranged builds out there for Chaos that are creeping in and getting more powerful. So yeah, good to have some more support to that and make it like a valid choice. So this is where it gets interesting.
Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't got enough HP. I don't think it's as interesting as you think.
Well, the problem is realistically how much damage you're going to be doing. I can't go range to get a free hit off. I'm going to have to go melee, even with this hard to share. Bonus is you attacking me means that you prop my berserk first.
Yeah, yeah.
I get a little bit of extra boom in there.
The Logan berserk is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me, everyone. Berserk for Logan.
His plasma pistol is a little bit stronger than Mephiston's. In fairness, doesn't Cypher have like multiple plasma pistols, and it's his
he
whole
has
thing?
two like relic plasma pistols from the Dark Angel's armory. The Dark Angel's armory being like the premium plasma people in the entire galaxy, having Dark Age of technology plasma weapons. So I think it's all right. I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
I completely forgot about the rule again. I thought, oh no, I've just killed myself. We're good. We're good.
Oh, good game again. Good game again.
So there is a funny story about the Khorne Berserker with the pistol not being able to shoot.
The throwing pistol.
Is that obviously we get all of our art from Games Workshop, and there are some images that aren't of a sufficient quality that Games Workshop are happy with. Obviously, with the Berserkers being the old models that they were, there were very few models that were in high res enough shots that they liked. And so even when I requested very specifically, could we have a Khorne Berserker with 2 melee weapons, 2 melee weapons only, because it does not have a range stat. Like, I'm sorry, the only one that we have of sufficient quality that we're happy to give you has a pistol. So there we go.
maybe we could retcon it. Maybe we could.
Well, we're getting new Khorne Berserkers.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
We know we are, and they look awesome. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about that for too much longer. We can finally find one with double weapons for everyone.
We've got a Tyranids, please, from Ferroman. Have you got a Tyranid deck, by any chance? I
do.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I do.
Excellent. Well, the best of 3 is already gone. Best of 5. Here we go. We can do this.
Yeah. Tyranids are a really interesting one. Because I like playing ranged Tyranids, but the ranged Tyranids don't have as many epics and legendaries to play around with.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to flex it a bit.
Yeah, and that is the tricky thing when building a deck around the dual traits. It's actually a lot harder than you think. Okay, we've gone for very, very different approaches here. This doesn't feel good for me.
Something planned with Yarek? That's a really, really good question.
Yeah. Great question.
Really good question. I mean, our main concern was about Creed, actually. We thought that he was gone, and but we weren't too worried because obviously there's Ursula Creed in the wings.
Yeah.
If we need it. But yeah, what are we going to do with Yarek?
Well, I think the honest answer is we don't know. Yeah, we don't know yet. We'll obviously keep abreast of all the news incoming. But you can't take our Yarek away from us.
No.
He's ours.
Yeah, we have to add a permanent 20 attack to downscore to show how angry he is about it all.
So Lathran Gill, who I actually loved way back when with Furious Charge. The return to form is back with Furious Charge.
So what you're saying is that he is basically just a bigger squig.
Yeah, he's a giant squig. Yeah, obviously, can't you tell? It's got the horns.
Under that mask. Yeah. Under that mask, he is just a giant squig. As a Harlequins player, I'm totally okay with that. We're wasting a lot of bonus here, but I'm clear your board.
Yeah, that hurt. There wasn't a lot I could do about that. Hopefully that's a couple of your big cards, though.
Yeah, I mean, you've completely neutralised my Ridge Runner. Oh no, I knew he was going to be there. Why did I make that card? Of course he was going to
be there.
So you know when I said there were no gross combinations, this is one of the cards that has a gross combination.
Gross, yeah. And I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, it's totally warranted due to the Incarn's cost and the fact that he has such low play rate. If he needs to be a little bit gross for a bit, that's totally fine. And very lore appropriate as well, the stats.
Extremely, yeah. Yeah, extremely lore appropriate.
This could hurt, though. It's gone. Yeah. he's much more comparable now in utility to the greater demons as well. Problem as well with Eldar is that they've got so many good cards at the mid-range point. You know, the 30 to 50 point cards. It's really hard to justify putting it in your card, but hopefully now you've got a really good reason in the fact that it literally cannot die.
It's reliability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's I think too often you get something target acquired or something goes horribly wrong.
Deck, which is surprising given how little space you have, but because of the fact that it's not going anywhere, it's going to be getting those stacks pretty reliably.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I saw the Jackal Alphas though, the big range spikes against my few big cards were going to be a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. I've got a bit of beatdown going on here.
Oh, it's okay, Codex. I had a good run the last few streams. I think
it's
true,
only
fair. Yeah.
I think it's only fair.
Oh, look. Oh, my God. That's so satisfying. 320 HP. Yes. It's too little too late, unfortunately, but it's still glorious.
Yeah, he needs to be a turn 1 player.
He wasn't in my opening hand, unfortunately. It was, yeah. Luck of the draw. Luck of the draw. What was Rage's second trait? Who's Rage's? Am I blanking on something that I should get here?
Do you mean Fury of the Calf World?
Possibly. It's Furious Charge.
Yeah, it's got Furious Charge.
Yeah. Ouch.
Boom.
GG. Okay. Should we go for one more? Let's have some. Regis wants to be a millionaire. Who wants to be a millionaire? Let's get some requests from the chat. What kind of decks would you like to see? Throw out some factions or warlords, whatever you like. We'll show off a few more of the cards. We've definitely got a Necrons in there. I have a Necron deck.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a Yarrick deck if everyone's in a state of mourning for him. Might be appropriate.
State of mourning.
I'm happy to play a Dark Strider as well.
Oh, I'd like to make some edits to my deck actually. We'll go and try hard now. This is Can you let Tom win once? No. There will be no letting. We gotta earn it.
I've got a Dark Strider request, so we've got Necrons and oh no. Okay. How gross I want to be with this. Should I go maximum growth?
No need for that. That just sounds rude. Sorry, we're deep in thought now, you can tell. What to bring. Okay, I've thrown it together. Oh, don't like building decks on stream. It's terrifying, honestly.
Oop.
Oh wow,
thanks
Codex with the
Codex.
gifts.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, that is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, we are going to be streaming more often. You force it upon us. Thank you so much. And if you guys were lucky enough to get one of those gift subs from Codex, do make sure to thank him in the chat. That is awesome. What a guy.
Alright, so we had Dark Strider Quest, and I've gone for Maximum Grace, so I'm sorry, Tom.
He's Dark Strider? Oh.
Yeah.
It's fine, he's only rare. He's going to be terrible, right?
Yeah. Not like there are any complete legendary carries in the Tau roster.
Never. What? Don't know what you're talking
about. I wouldn't possibly put a legendary Tau carry as my first play.
Hey, take that.
Are we showing this?
We showing what?
The match.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm too sucked in now. There it is. I'm getting carried away.
But yeah, for those of you who didn't see the impact of that landing, that is an inspiring presence.
That is a long strike against a Scarab, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Scarab counterplay. Any info on the Black Friday Thanksgiving events? There are going to be some Black Friday Thanksgiving themed events. No, so there is a Fallen versus Dark Angels themed event coming, and it is going to be an exploration event. So you can look forward to that next week. A lot of stuff going on, big events, new cards. Yeah, I won't go into it too much right now because this is really a secondary traits focused stream. We really wanted to keep the focus there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be exciting times.
Yeah, but as we said, I can think of no legendary Tau carries at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think with Tau, it doesn't matter really what your Warlord's up to, because you're just going to delete everything.
Yeah. Well, I managed to, keep my desk tech alive. That's something. Yeah. That is slightly annoying. 76 HP. So if my combat cards knowledge is correct.
Uh-oh.
Which almost definitely isn't. Oh, I don't know what to do here.
When do the changes go out? In the next week. Next week. We said it once, we can say it again. It's alright. Yeah, I mean, it was a really big
Oof, he hits hard. Wow.
toss-up in the design space when the Void Dragon first came out, which trait to give him. Because obviously he's amazing at completely deleting any kind of vehicle at the tabletop, but he also does so by eating the vehicles. So, yeah, getting regen on there is going to make a difference. I mean, I've got a backup. I can throw my Barracuda under the bus.
Who can you now? You've got a backup Barracuda. Ooh.
Yeah. And also, I get to move.
Did you get to move? Is that your backup Barracuda?
No,
It's not really Barracuda, is it?
Oh, it's got. Well, actually, it is my backup, but it's got 96 damage. It's got regen, and it's got 203. So we've got regen on a battle suit. Good to see. See, this is what's good. We've been able to introduce new combos and stuff like that we just haven't seen before.
Void Dragon's alive.
If something much.
Void Dragon's alive.
Yeah, for now. Fine.
Hey,
All part of
you
the
can
plan.
move your cards, I can move my cards. It's all good.
Yeah, but my cards shoot when they move.
No, it's irrelevant. It's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't you dare. No.
Pew 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 pew.
I got, you guys. I got.
Oh, please.
It's a shame because
He's gonna stay on the
Gonna be
board.
the Medicaid.
He's gonna stay there on the board, taking up a slot.
He certainly is.
I think that's what happens, isn't it? It's been a while since I played Darts Runner. He just stays on the board there, yeah.
I guess I'll just keep psychic looping. Ugh. It's not enough damage.
Really?
It's not enough damage.
Really? I would have got him a tech up by now and saved that heal for him.
Well, I
You're
was
gonna need
considering it, but 164 damage is no joke. Although Torn did live. Didn't expect him to survive, actually.
Well, that's because you healed him. And he's got, what is it,
Yeah.
like 40% damage to this?
No, it was the heal that did it. Took him over the limit. I mean, it's free damage. Never say no to free damage.
Yeah, you can't get a lot of that against Tau.
I mean, I'm up here having fun. I appreciate the sympathy cries from the chat, but